Good morning. I was coming out to the garden to get some stuff for breakfast, and I wanted to do a quick update on my greenhouse. Haven't done that in about a month, so I just wanted to give an update on what's going on inside of here. I have some new things growing. I had some pepperoncinis come up, and I've actually transplanted a few of these that were quite a bit bigger than these that started ahead of time. Peppers, they take various times to germinate, sometimes a long time. They need a very warm, consistent temperature, and we've had weird weather, so they just have been germinating at different times. So I got some California Wonders that came up. I also transferred a few bigger ones of these out yesterday into bigger pots. I have some Napa Chardonnay tomatoes that I've started, and I've never grown these before. I'm just trying new stuff. I like to try new varieties of especially tomatoes, but different things. Back here I've got some purple bell peppers that are just starting to germinate. I've got some Marketmore cucumbers that are coming up. My lemon habaneros and my Armenian cucumbers still haven't done anything. They've been in here for about a month. I'll probably just leave the peppers in here for a while to see what happens, but I don't have any hope for the cucumbers because they generally generate really fast. So those seeds may have not been good. There's some more Marketmore cucumbers that I have getting up. And then right here I have some Carne de Toro sweet peppers, and those are orange. So they're like a oblong orange sweet pepper. First time growing those, and I also transplanted a few of those out into bigger pots yesterday. Yesterday was my first transplant harden off wave that I've done as far as replanting the hot weather vegetables like my peppers and tomatoes. So I'll show you that in a minute. And down here I have just started yesterday. I planted some of those Peter Pan dwarf patty pan, like a light green small patty pan squash. Got those seeds from Lowe's, and they are organic, and I've not grown those before, so I just planted those out yesterday. Also yesterday I started some chocolate striped tomatoes. Haven't grown those before either. And some purple jalapenos that have germinated. First time growing those. And I have some Space Master bush cucumbers. I don't really know if these are going to germinate. I found an old pack of seeds in a drawer, and they looked like they had started to try to germinate, so I just threw them in here to see. In a couple of days I'll know if they're any good or not, but I figured it was worth a try. And then my jalapenos have not germinated yet. Down here I have some dragon tongue bush beans that I started down here. One of my favorite bush beans to grow. They're like a wax buttery textured flat bean, and they are so good. I've been growing those for 3 or 4 years at least. And then down here I have some red swan bush beans, and I got these from Baker Creek last year, and I planted them out last year. Didn't plant a big spot, I was just trying them out, but they were pretty good. I don't know how much different. I'm going to give them more room this year, see what happens, but they were okay. Not something that I feel at this point as a need to grow in my garden. And here I have been collecting bottles to do a project in my garden. As you know, my garden is 98% recycled, found, salvaged materials, and I like repurposing and reusing things in my garden. And I'm going to make a couple flower beds, borders with these bottles. I saw that on Pinterest years ago, and I've been interested in trying that now that I'm doing some more in bed gardens, and I need to carve out some spaces that are just for flowers. So that's what I'm going to use those for. And then over here I got some Kentucky Wonder pole beans and some tender green bush beans germinating. That I started those yesterday. And it's February 17th today. And then here I've got some of my rattlesnake pole beans. Love those beans. Pretty much most of my pole beans this year are going to consist of Kentucky Wonders, rattlesnakes, and I bought some Romano pole type, which I've only grown the bush type before, just to have more variety going on my fence. And I have planted out my potatoes, and planted potatoes, and I still have that many of the red Pontiac potatoes. So I don't know if I'm going to try and give them away or buy some more grow bags, but still got some Pontiacs to go in the ground or in a grow bag. And here is some little tomatoes. There's my tomatillos. They have started germinating. And then I have just separated some blueberry clackamas. They finally germinated. And then Abe Lincoln. First time growing Abe Lincoln. And here's some more of those Napa Chardonnays that I transplanted out into individual little cells yesterday. Generally with my tomatoes, I like to just plant a little 4-inch container like that with seeds and see how they come up, and then separate them out from there. And I planted up some coleus. These are actually pelleted seed that I found at Home Depot, and I love coleus. I have a lot of shade border gardens in my yard, and I just think they're so pretty. These are mixed colors. They just brighten up the spot. I just love them. So I got some pelleted seed to try and see if that's a better germinating seed for me. Chocolate habaneros still didn't germinate. And then here I have my acorn squash that I'm going to be planting out in my bed. Hopefully I'll get a chance today. It's going to be raining off and on all day. And I have some snapdragons that came up. My cubanelles did not. I do have a couple of San Marzano tomatoes that popped up. I did get one that popped up a lot earlier that I've already transplanted, but I just left it to see what else would come up. And I got 2 more in there, and those are a paste tomato. Pretty much the most recommended paste tomato out there. And then I started some more beets, and the Sugar Rush peach peppers haven't came up yet. And then over here I have some cantaloupes, and they have came up. And then I have some Israel cantaloupes right here that haven't come up yet. Change this around so you can see, so I can see. And my Clemson spineless hasn't come up yet. That's okra. And then over here I got some more beets. And then I have some pole beans, Blue Lake pole beans that did not come up. I'm pretty much thinking that at this point they're probably rotted. I don't really like growing in those cells. I have the best luck with these boxes and those things there. They tend to want to get overwatered and get rot in those cells. So I'm probably going to replant those. And same thing with those rattlesnakes back there. And so far, nothing on the serranos or the green yard long beans. And then I have a few flowers that have come up in here. And then down here, got some more Blue Lake pole beans that did not come up. And then I also planted some strawberry popcorn. And I got some more flowers down here and 1 okra that came up. So that is what's going on in the greenhouse. I didn't show you yesterday. I planted some poppy, some aster, and some lemon mint up there. And then my lemon queen sunflowers haven't come up yet, but those are my solar eclipse that I need to plant out in the garden, but I'm in the process of making room for. And that's what's going on there. At my grow station, I just brought some stuff in for my kitchen to use in my greenhouse. I'm going to use this to plant beans in. I'm going to use this little container to plant tomatoes in. And then I'll probably plant some lettuce in these. And I use spoons and forks and butter knives to help me repot seedlings. And that was extra old ones that I had found that had made its way back into the house. And then this sheet pan had started to get rust on it. I've had it for like 13 years and I saw a rust spot on it when I took it out of the dishwasher. So I am retiring it to the greenhouse to put seed trays on. And here I have some beets, jalapeno, pineapple, and then here the sweet alyssum that I germinated last month that I just transplanted into individual cells yesterday. So I'll take you over and show you the transplants that I planted out yesterday. I spent a good 2 hours transplanting and planting seeds in my greenhouse yesterday. It was good weather. So here's my strawberries. They're still doing good. My rosemary, my little towers of strawberries. And then I've still got tomatoes growing right there. And then here are all of my first transplants for my tomatoes and peppers. I have about 41 different tomatoes in here. And then in this tray I have 7 of the peppers, which those are the orange de Toro sweet pepper, pepperoncinis, and California Wonders. And then here I have a eggplant, which I don't know what kind of eggplant that was because it just showed up in one of my little containers that had tomatoes in it. So I don't know how the seed got in there, but anyway, it grew and now it's going to get transplanted into the garden. And then here's my San Marzano beefsteak. We have Dr. Witchy's, Kellogg's Breakfast, Black Beauty, Fire Feather, Blueberry Clackamas, and my store-bought Roma tomatoes that I saved seeds from last year, and Black Beauties, a Zoycha, yellow beefsteak, more beefsteak, pink ox heart, and Paul Robeson. And I think that is about it for what I have transplanted out here so far. So got plenty of little tomato starts, and I was worried because I transplanted them and then put them out here under the tree to harden off in the shade, and we got a torrential downpour after that. So I was worried about my little seedlings, but they look so much better than when I first transplanted them yesterday. They looked like they grew a foot, just like every time in the spring when you plant something after it rains, everything grows, and everything looks like it grew and got so happy from that rain. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm really happy that nothing got drowned or anything, and nothing is worse for wear after all my hard work. But that is the first wave of tomatoes and peppers that's going to be going into the garden. And I will just show you real quick what I got accomplished yesterday in the garden. I finished fertilizing and putting out, finished these beds, and I finished planting my potatoes in these grow bags. I still need either more grow bags or I need to give away those potatoes, but I filled those up with potatoes yesterday, and we'll see how they do in comparison to the 3 rows. The giant grow bag and that end cap right there, it all has potatoes, and I'm growing red Pontiacs, Red Norlands, Yukon Golds, Kennebecks. Yeah, I think that's it. So right here I planted my spaghetti squash, which I only had, there's more seedlings in here, so I'm going to put this back in the greenhouse, see if more will germinate. But so far that 6-pack sale, 4 of them germinated, which is probably enough. I was going to plant 6 in that bed and let them kind of go on the ground in between. I'm going to plant my acorn squash in here, hopefully today, and then I'm probably going to plant squash in those 2 containers too, is what the deal is. So I am about to pick some Swiss chard for breakfast, and a couple of peppers, and wrap this up. Talk to you later.